The young guns making an impact for the San Jose Sharks, but special teams stink tonight as the Sharks lose 6-3 to the Carolina Hurricanes. So we'll discuss all that, what the numbers say, and try to find Mackenzie Blackwood some help on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at Inside the Rink, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can subscribe on YouTube as well, or do both. Both is great. And Sharks put up a valiant effort, even though it was much like the same game script from last game. Had the Carolina Hurricanes on the ropes for a little bit, and then we saw how the Sharks, just not quite a full 60-minute team as Carolina pulled away, winning 6-3. So we're going to talk about how the young guns, the young players, the Sharks are contributing in meaningful ways. Dig into the numbers on a very weird game, as there was 13 power plays combined between the two teams, and try to figure out what we can do to help Mackenzie Blackwood. So before we get into all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you guys by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So let's start with the positive news. And we know this season is going to be a slog, right? We don't expect the Sharks to win a lot of games and arguably be the worst team in the NHL. But the best thing that can come out of this season, other than winning first overall pick, is seeing the young guys progress and contribute and do it in meaningful ways. And you have to start at guys like Filip Zadina, Zetterlund, Eklund, Bordeleau. These guys have been contributing in the goals. Like you've seen their impact on the ice. So I named all the players who have scored goals for the Sharks so far this season, right? Zadina's got 2 goals. Zetterlund got his first in Teal tonight. Eklund got his first of the season tonight. Bordeleau got his first in the NHL the other night. Here are the ages of said players. Eklund is, just turned 21. Bordeleau is 22. Eklund. So Bordeleau is 21, turns 22 in January. Zadina, 23. And then noted old Fabian Zetterlund, who just turned 24 this summer. So you're getting key contributions from young players who, again, these are all just the goal scorers. And we know Hurdle's been added some assists and stuff, but these have been your goal scorers this season, has been all the young players. Like, the young players have come to play so far this season. Yes, the Sharks are getting massively outplayed most of the time, and we'll talk about that when we get to the numbers and try to find Mackenzie Blackwood some help. But Fabian Zetterlund looks like an absolute bargain right now. This looks like the player that the Red Wings were hoping to get when they drafted him 6th overall. He had another goal tonight. Was this close? If he didn't loses an edge, he's probably has a highlight reel type of goal. And you can see in sticking up for his teammates, right? Hurdle, takes a late hit into the boards. Zadina makes a beeline to go take out the, kind of rough up that player. Yes, he takes a penalty, but the Sharks killed that penalty. You can see like how these guys can be meaningful pieces, right? Eklund just looking like you see all the awesome stuff that he did with the Barracuda, right? The pirouettes, the kind of finding that open ice, shaking guys off, finding that open ice. And you see that strength and kind of him working harder and building his body up to be an NHL ready. That's how he gets that goal, right? He is up front in the dirty area, gets a rebound and is able to pot it home. Almost has a beautiful assist to Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman is wide open. If Brent Burns doesn't get his stick down and slows down that puck, Mike Hoffman is going to roof that thing. But the way he does it is he gets the puck in the corner, kind of shakes the guy off, cuts to the net, and he puts a great pass right in there. And again, Brent Burns being the crafty veteran that he is, he's able to get his stick down. But if not, we're talking about how Eklund's got a 2-point game tonight. And the Sharks maybe, or at that point, they'd be winning, we'll see if they collapse. But like we could be talking about a Sharks win here. Bordeleau, right? You see him kind of continuing to progress. And yes, they're going to make mistakes. Bordeleau, made a bit of a mistake tonight. But you see the way that these guys are progressing. Bordeleau was great in the faceoffs. I'm not a big faceoff guy. But Bordeleau was great in the face-off dot tonight. Something that he's going to continue to work on. That's something that, right, Bordeleau, that face-offs are something that veterans do. He was at 71% at one point. It looks like he dropped down to 54%. But still, like having a young player who can win face-offs is a huge thing because it's usually something that happens as you get older and kind of just do it more. Connor Bedard talked about that, right? Connor Bedard, generational player. He's going to suck at faceoffs for a while. Sidney Crosby talked about that. He sucked at faceoffs for a while until he got here and got. But if you can see Bordeleau start to kind of build that, continue again to add those skills to him, their repertoire. Jacob Peterson, who's been around for a while, 1 of 8 in the faceoff. Again, faceoffs are a little bit overrated, but again, just adding those skills that make them, coaches love that stuff, right? That make them more valuable to the team. So, and Zetterlund, right? We've talked about Zetterlund being such a huge, the Zetterlund in the fourth line being such a huge impact. And I talked about it yesterday. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Zetterlund spots one here soon. What does he do? He comes out and he gets one on the breakaway. Great setup by Hurdle. Very, kind of Erik Karlsson-esque finding with that big stretch pass. Kind of lost it. Zetterlund, go get it and do what you do. And that's going to be such a huge lift for Zetterlund, who we know struggled last year after the trade, just kind of, I think, dealing with the mental process of being traded and going from literally a dark horse Stanley Cup contender to one of the worst teams in the NHL. And I think Zetterlund's really kind of found his role on the Sharks this season. I think it's only going to continue to get better and better for Zetterlund, right? I think we're going to continue to see Zetterlund playing free and loose and not maybe gripping the stick as hard trying to get that first one. The young Sharks have come out to play so far this season. And even guys like Thrun and Knizhov, I know Thrun had a little bit of it was a one-on-one situation. He kind of turned around a little bit slow there and kind of gave up a good chance, but Blackwood made the save. But, Knizhov had a penalty. But again, like Knizhov hasn't played basically, hockey for almost 2 years, and Thrun has played 10 NHL games. Like you're going to have these moments with these guys, but you got to continue to build on these moments and use those as teaching moments, right? What do you have to do to get better? But continue to build on those and continue again for this season. That this is the only thing that matters, right? I talked about the most important person in San Jose this season was William Eklund in his development. Getting these young players going and kind of getting through the lumps, especially early in the season, right? This schedule's brutal for the Sharks, but getting them going, and then by the end of the season, these guys have kind of figured it out, and then you go into next year and you can start to add more pieces and start to move out of that basement to that kind of maybe start to enter the fun, frisky phase with some of these players. And you can, again, everybody's contributing is 24 or younger. Like these guys are going to be around San Jose for a while if the Sharks want to keep them in there for a while. So we're going to continue look at what the numbers say and try to find Mackenzie Blackwood some help. But do want to talk about our good friends over at eBay Motors. And if you want to take care of your ride or die, eBay Motors is the way to go. They got everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level up to peak performance. They have superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED highlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because at eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers. And once you get your ride or die set up, you need to go to a concert, go to a Sharks game. Maybe you want to go see the Warriors. Whatever you want to do, Game Time is the way to go. You don't have to worry about buying your tickets for the next event. They make it fast and easy. Buying anything, like I said, sports, music, comedy, theater. They have killer last minute deals and all in prices, views for your seat, and the best price guaranteed. Again, nothing worse than you go to check out and then they slap a bunch of fees on you. You don't have to worry about that with Game Time. You see the price, everything included when you go to checkout. There's no surprises, and they have views from the seats of the venue, right? That's the second worst thing. Buying tickets, you get there, and then you realize you got a terrible view. So Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. So even if it's an hour before after it starts, it's still the place to find last-minute seats. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. This game is really weird, especially with the literally billion power play minutes. There was only 38 minutes, 31 of 5-on-5. So almost half this game was played in some sort of special teams. So the numbers are not pretty, especially for the Sharks. And this was another game where they gave up a ton of shot attempts. Looking at all situations, 91 shot attempts for the Hurricanes, 35 for the Sharks. You cannot live in a world like this where you're just constantly getting outshot like almost 3-1, right? For like it is a tough world to sled. Yeah, the Hurricanes, but we knew this, right? The Corsi Kings themselves led the league in shots the past couple, like that. This is what they do, right? They put on the shots. 5-on-5 though, we'll try to glean what we can out of this and talk about the special teams here in a second. So 30-31, 50-21 shot attempts in favor of the Hurricanes. Corsi for of 70.42 to 29.58. So 70% of the shots belong to the Hurricanes. Shot attempts, sorry. Actual shots, 22-10 shots on goal. Scoring chances, 24-9 in favor of the Hurricanes. 8-5 high danger chances. Expected goals for 1.56 to 0.78. So Sharks again, trying to keep it out of trying to make those low danger shots, which is pretty, if you're going to live in this world, at least make the shots low danger. Expected goals for 66% for the Hurricanes. It was just 2 games in a row where we're seeing this, and it doesn't get much easier when they play the Bruins next on Thursday. So looking at the lines, and again, the numbers are going to be really weird because basically, 20% of the game was played at on special teams. But Eklund, Bordeleau, Hoffman played the most time on ice at 5-on-5 at 7:37. They had one shot attempt for 5 allowed. 0 to 3 to actual shots on goal, 0 to 1 scoring chances, no high danger, didn't give up a high danger, and then 2-3-7. So they drew the most defensive zone starts, which is interesting. Duclair hurdles Zadina, 6:46 time on ice, 8-8, Corsi 4. So we'll take that, especially again in a game where you were, almost 50 to 21 for the shot attempts. 8-8. Actual shots on goal, though, was 1-5. They did give up a goal. 5 scoring chances, gave up 4, 2-2 for your high danger chances. And then 1-7-1, so mostly neutral zone starts. Zetterlund, Sturm, Smith, 5-3 with your Corsi 4 chances in favor of that line, 4-1 shot attempts. They didn't get the goal because, again, Hurdle, that was kind of a shift change play right there. Expected goals 4.4. So this has been the Sharks' most productive forward line. 2 scoring chances, 4, gave up 0, 2 high danger chances, gave up 0, and then 1-3-2 for your zone starts. And then finally, the Barabanov, Peterson, Luke Cunnin line. And 4:43 time on ice, 3 shot attempts, 4, gave up 9, 2-6 for the actual shots on goal, 0.04 expected goals, 4 to 0.41, 6 scoring chances allowed, 1 high danger chance allowed, and then 1-1-0. So mostly on the fly starts for them. I know Jacob Peterson put in a tough spot, and I know he's played center before, but I think he's holding down the fort trying to do it the best he can right now. I just don't think he's a center. And once Logan Couture comes back, whenever he comes back, you could see that line being more productive when Couture comes back. But right now, that line is definitely a little bit on the struggle bus, right? If I know the Eklund line didn't produce much as well. But also Eklund, Bordeleau have played 30 NHL games combined, and I know Mike Hoffman's a seasoned veteran. But who's driving that line, right? It's Eklund and Bordeleau, and Hoffman's kind of there to try to score. And at least they do give us some shot attempts and stuff, but their scoring chances, they gave up 1, they gave up 0 high danger chances, and it was pretty neutral, at least when it came to the actual scoring opportunities. So, but we got to look at the power play, which was an issue, especially for the Sharks penalty kill, right? You knew that was going to have to be special for them to have a chance in this game. And giving up 3 goals to the Hurricanes, I don't care who you are, giving up 3 power play goals. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that. And then adding the shorthanded goal on top of it, which we talked about, right? That was one of my bold predictions, is the power play would be better, but this team is going to lead the league in shorthanded goals. The Hurricanes are an aggressive penalty kill team, and this is their 4th shorthanded goal of the season. As much as I love the 5-man chaos, I think you really have to think hard about letting Thrun run the power play. The second power play just looks much smoother getting in, getting settled. It feels like with the first power play unit, it takes them 20 to 30 seconds just to get settled into the zone before they start doing stuff. And while I feel like the second power play is, boom, you're in the zone, they get settled, they get some shot attempts off, or they do some stuff. So I'm curious to see how long until Quinn realizes we have to maybe at least try Thrun on the first power play unit. Maybe if you want to do the first power play unit as the traditional, and the second one as the 5-man, the 5 forward one, once they kind of get settled, right? Maybe you're getting guys in there. It's a little more chaotic. Then I know it's hard though, thinking, because when the power play runs out, then you got to get 2 forwards off to get 2 defensemen on. I totally get that, but it feels like it's it takes so long for the first power play to get set up. And you saw tonight, right, trying to make a pass to get into the zone as they're trying to get set up. And Jacob Slavin, who's an, otherworldly, arguably the best defensive defenseman in the NHL, makes a perfect read, makes a break, and he's off to the races. So we'll see what they have to do here, but it's going to be tough sledding, I think, just getting set up going forward, especially on that power play. So maybe they're just waiting until Shakir Mukhamadolin's ready. So we'll see. But before we continue, we're going to look at Blackwood's night and what the Sharks can do to try to help Blackwood here. We're going to do that here in just 1 second. If you, like me, love hockey, there's nothing better just kind of imagining the great things, right? Not like watching William Eklund score. Maybe the Sharks, not going to win the Stanley Cup, but maybe they win the first pick in the draft. And if you want to win 100 times your money, play daily fantasy hockey on the Sleeper app. These are all possible scenarios, except for the Sharks winning the Stanley Cup for the season. But to have a chance at winning big, you need to play daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. As the official daily fantasy hockey app on the Locked On NHL Network, Sleeper is your top choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy contests. They always have, for every game, right? You can do things like, I'm going to pick Mario Ferraro blocks. I'm going to pick Filip Zadina to score. Basically, for each one, all you got to do is pick more or less for the stars. Choose stats like goals, assists, saves, plus minus. You just keep picking the over, the more for Mackenzie Blackwood saves right now. So you heard me, Sharks fans, 100 times payout on Sleeper to start paying attention and get your picks right so you could win big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right, Mackenzie Blackwood. Let's look at his night, which started very strong and I think just kind of fell apart at the end there. And again, when you're facing, he's faced almost 100 shots in 2 games. The shots on goal, it's gonna be, it's tough to expect him to be perfect every shot, every game. But he played well, and then things kind of just fell apart in the third period as the team fell apart in the third period. So let's dig into Mackenzie Blackwood's numbers and see what the Sharks need to do to try to help him out. Because I think Mackenzie Blackwood, you feel like if he keeps playing the way he's playing, you might have a chance to kind of squeak out a couple more wins than you potentially expected. So 60 minutes tonight, 42 shots, 36 saves, 6 goals against. Expected goals against is 4.1. That's what in all situations. So probably wants the wraparound one back, I think. But the other ones, there's not too many of them where you're like, yeah, that was a soft goal. So 13 high danger shots, 9 high danger saves, 4 goals against, 692 high danger save percentage, 9 to 8 on the mid danger saves, 889, and then 15 of 15 of the low danger saves as well. So, I don't expect Mackenzie Blackwood to go 51 of 52. And again, the game kind of fell apart, especially with all the power plays at the end of the game here. But the Sharks, they need to figure out something to get Blackwood some help. And the best way to get Blackwood some help is to possess the puck, right? You can't live in a world where you're getting, 20 shot attempts, 16 shot attempts on goal. You need to be up 25. That doesn't even seem like a lot, but the Sharks could just live in a world where they're 25 shot attempts and possessing the puck for, more than a shift at a time in the other team's zone. And again, you're playing the Bruins next, so it is not looking up here for being able to establish. But I think that's the thing, right? Is they struggle so much, and this is what we talked about going into the season, right? Is who can get the puck out of their zone and get things going offensively. And it takes so much work for them to just hunt the puck down and get it out of the defensive zone, and even just get it into the neutral zone. And they just don't have that puck moving defenseman who can do that right now. Thrun and Ruda and all the guys, right? I think Ferraro has played pretty well so far this season, but again, that's just not his game, right? Is that puck moving defenseman, and they just don't have that type of player on the roster right now. So I wonder if maybe trying to slow it down a little bit more, having Mackenzie Blackwood freeze the puck a little bit more, where they can try to win a draw, right? Sturm's good at draws. Hurdle's good at draws. Bordeleau, I think, is improving on his draws. Try to win the draw. Again, I hate talking about face-offs, but try to win the face-off and see if you can kind of slowly and surely get it out of the zone that way, and kind of be more methodical about it, which is, again, it lowers your ceiling of what type of team you can be, just because creating offense is so hard. Or you can see what they've been like. They've kind of been like a counter punch rush team, where that's how they scored on the Zetterlund goal, was them being able to create offense that way, and just kind of that quick strike offense. But you put so much pressure on your defense there. So, and then scoring on the power play, which they scored 2 goals on the power play and they gave up a penalty kill. So you basically went +1 on the power play tonight, or like you gave up a shorthanded goal. So you went +1 on the power play, and then your penalty kill, which has been perfect so far this season, gave up 3. So I think, though, trying to figure out a way to get more sustained offense. And you've seen the Nico Sturm line with Zetterlund and Smith do that and be able to kind of create that offense. But it's hard to get. We haven't seen that like shift after shift after shift sustained offense. So I'm curious to see what Quinn wants to do there. Again, I think maybe trying to slow things down and be more methodical, getting the puck out of the zone by winning draws, which is, again, it's still a 50-50 chance that you're going to win the draw. Or how can he kind of create a little bit more offense? Or maybe they just have to, like last year, right? We talked about how the team was too aggressive. Maybe he might need to kind of pull that playbook out and try to figure out ways to kind of get the team going on the rush a little bit more. And then you can create some sustained offense that way. So it'll be interesting to see what the Sharks do with that. But yeah, you can't keep living in a world where you're giving up, 90 some odd shot attempts a game, and expect to be anywhere competitive at some point. And so we'll be back tomorrow. That's going to be it for me today. So we'll be back tomorrow, where someone posed the question. Good friend Hal posed the question, are the Sharks actually the worst team in the league? And we'll look at very early contenders for kind of make the case for the Sharks to be the worst team, kind of look at some of the other early contenders, and kind of see where the Sharks are going to be at as the season continues to progress, and kind of look at maybe some of these other teams' ceilings as the season goes on, right? As Eklund and Zetterlund and Zadina and Bordeleau these guys start to kind of play more, you expect them to improve. So maybe there's some room for improvement for the Sharks, and they won't be the worst team in the NHL. So we'll look at that. Of course, we'll cover the Sharks-Bruins game on Thursday night for you. So plenty of good stuff coming here at Locked On Sharks. Make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can subscribe on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. And until tomorrow, bye, friends.